Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, and welcome to my next Let's Play. I am playing the game Uniracers. This game came out on the Super Nintendo in 1994, developed by DMA Design and published by Nintendo. DMA Design may not be a super familiar name, but you may recognize the name of the company they're known as now as Rockstar North, the developers of the Grand Theft Auto series. But yeah, this was a 2D racing game on the Super Nintendo. This was a game that I grew up with, and it's a game that I actually really got a lot of mileage out of when I was a kid. I actually played quite a bit of this game, more than even like Mario Kart, for example. I just think it's a really charming racing game. It doesn't have like items or anything like that like you would see in like Mario Kart and other games of that nature. It's just about like pure racing and track optimization, which I think is pretty cool. It's more of a technical racing game as opposed to, you know, just trying to stay in the running and then use items to get your win. Not that Mario Kart is all about that, mind you. But still, this is a game I do really enjoy. I did actually do a co-op playthrough of this game with my good buddy Odin Spack on the channel a couple of years ago. We didn't actually like play through the entire game or anything like that. We just raced through all the tracks in the game and had a bit of a versus competition. But for this video, or for this project, I'm actually going to do basically the single player mode and kind of showcase what you have to do to not only beat the game, but also unlock everything in the game as well, since this is a game where you definitely have to unlock everything. So let's go ahead and get started here. If you go into the one-player mode, you'll see that you have 16 racers to choose from, which is a pretty hefty cast. Although, I'll be honest, the only difference between all of these racers is just the color of their vehicle. Every vehicle controls the same. There's no one vehicle that's better than another or better optimized than another, so do not worry about that. And these are all the default names of the characters, but you can actually change them, and I am going to go ahead and do that. Although it is kind of funny, there is actually a character that is actually named after me technically, and it's actually funny. A funny story. I'll tell the story really quick and then we'll get started. When I first played this game, I actually rented it. And for some reason, I thought I named this character right here Robbie, because that's what I went by when I was younger, when I was a kid. That's the name I went by, since my name is Rob. And for some reason, I thought that like I had rented like a pre-released copy of the game, and then because I changed the name of this unicycle to my name, it became like the default standard character in all versions of the game. When, no, this character was just always named that. I just, you know, thought that like, oh, okay, well, I guess... I guess I just picked it because it was my name. I thought I actually named it, though. So, that is kind of a funny story. Me being a dumb kid and everything. But how you change character names is you just go into options, you go to rename player. You can pick whatever color you want, and I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick Steve. I'm not crazy about Steve, so we're just gonna change his name because why not? So there we go. We named our character. Now let's go ahead and get right into the game here. So we're gonna pick Slim, and we have 4 tours to choose from. As you can see, there are 4 other tours that will unlock as we make progress through the game. But we have Crawler, we have Shuffler, we have Walker, and we have Hopper. We're going to go ahead and start with Crawler. These are the 5 tracks that are a part of this tour. And you'll see that each of these tracks has a different symbol in front of it. The straight line usually signifies it's just like a drag race of sorts. You just go from point A to point B, and that's the whole race. These are circuit tracks, which means you have to complete a certain number of laps. And the third icon, this icon, it means it's a stunt course, which is, you know, you're not trying to get to like a point B or to finish the race. You're just trying to do a bunch of stunts within a time limit to beat a high score. And then after you beat these 3, you have another drag race, and you have another circuit race. And pretty much every tour is comprised of these 5 tracks, so that's basically how this will work. We are currently on the bronze level. Once we complete all of these, we'll get the bronze medal, and then we can start working towards the silver medal, and then eventually the gold medal. And gold medal is the highest. So we're essentially playing every track 3 times. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with Dragster. So let's go ahead and get this going. So, because this is a 2D racing game, all you have to do is just hold the button in the direction of where you're going, and that's really about it. But there is more to just, like, you know, movement. You can actually jump if you press the B button, and you can actually, if you press some of the other buttons, you can actually do stunts. So I actually did, like, I'm doing, like, twists by pressing the A button when I'm in the air. And depending on, like, how many of these tricks that you can do like double twists and triple twists and stuff of that nature, which really come into play more during the stunt courses, but I think they give you a little extra speed the more like variety of stunts that you do. And in addition to twists, you can also do rolls and flips and Z flips, and there are some other interesting stunt maneuvers you can do too, but we'll definitely talk more about those as we go through like the stunt courses. But yeah, that Dragster is literally just a straight line. It's not a very long course, and it's a very quick one to get through. But let's go ahead and move on to the next track. We have Zoom Zoo, our first circuit track here. So let's go ahead and get this going. And of course, at the beginning of every race, it'll actually show you which direction you need to go. So yeah, now I'm doing rolls, which you use rolls and flips using the L and R buttons. To do a roll, you have to, like, if you're going right, you need to press the R button. To do a flip, you'll do the L button. But if you're going left, it's reversed. Basically, rolls are the frontward moving maneuvers, and flips are the backwards moving maneuvers. And then, as you can see, like, I've done, like, a couple of variations here. So, like, there's a big jump right here. I'm going to do a couple of rolls. That's a triple roll right there. And you want to do them in tracks like these, because like I said, they do give you a small little speed boost whenever you do them. And you can also combine twists and rolls and flips together, so you can do like a super hybrid stunt. And the more tricks you do in like one maneuver, like the game will be like, whoa, that was awesome, and stuff of that nature, which I think is kind of cool. And you hear some like really cool like sound effects you're doing these tricks as well. There is also one other maneuver. I did a Z flip right there. That's if you just press the X button while you're in the air, you'll kind of turn yourself around, and if you do it again, you'll, you know, flip back around, obviously. That's pretty much what a Z flip is, anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much Zoom Zoo. Let's go ahead and do our first stunt track. So for this first track, we have to get a qualifying score of 68. This is really not hard to do. The bronze medal scores are very, very free. But it makes sense since, you know, you're still trying to figure out, like, what exactly you have to do. So, like, I'm going to do that. That'll give me Twister City. I unfortunately wiped out there. And yeah, we're already past the score. One fun thing you can do, if you want, like, a really bunch of extra points, like, out of the gate, just stand here, jump, and then press the X button. You'll do a head bounce, which gives you, you know, a lot of points. But one thing to keep in mind is when you're doing tricks, like, you can't just rely on just doing a bunch of, like, city, like, which are basically more than 4 variations of one stunt, because you'll get less points the more stunts you do. So, like, if you get, like, if you do, like, one Twister City, you'll get, like, a bunch of points, but then, like, if you do another Twister City, you'll get half of those points. And those scores keep decreasing until you only get 1 point for the moves. So, like, they want you to do a whole bunch of different tricks, not just, like, one trick over and over and over again. So, like, even though I got a good score, I mean, that looks like it's a really good score, I think ultimately for the gold medal score, I have to get, like, somewhere in the 200s. So, you know, you have to rely more on just doing a variety of different moves and not just the same move over and over and over again. So next up we have Switcher. We have another drag race track. Here's something else you can do in this game. If you hold the Y button at the very beginning and then let go when you hit go, you will get a little bit of a speed boost. So keep that in mind. This track introduces the purple sludge. If the track starts to turn orange, that means that there is a sludge pile getting ready to come out in front of you. So what you have to do to avoid that is just, jump when you see the track turn orange. You should generally avoid the sludge by doing that. But as you can see, there are actually different paths in this track. There's like a bug path, which I guess you can kind of look at it as a shortcut. If you see like the track start to turn like a solid yellow, that means you can jump and usually take some form of shortcut or alternate path or something. And then like if you do this, like you might be able to skip like some like more difficult sections of the track, but again, it's hard to say really. Especially with this track, I don't even know like what the alternate route is for this level. But yeah, one thing I like doing is whenever I'm in a straightaway like this, I try to do a roll twist. That just kind of gives you like a really nice boost of speed, and you can really get far ahead of your opponent if you do that. So now we have one last track. We have Monster. This is actually a very deceptively hard track because there are a couple of trouble spots in this one. So we're going to go ahead and start by doing the speed boost. Now if you see the track turn pink like this, you'll have these little, I don't even know what you want to call these, but they basically take you down to a lower part of the track. And you want to make sure you're not jumping at a section like that. Because if you jump on that little switcher thing, they'll actually send you back a little bit. And it just kind of slows you down. So you don't want to get too crazy with stunts at the beginning of this track because you may accidentally jump on it. I'll go ahead and showcase what happens if I do that. Yeah, see, you do that, and that can just really slow you down. And another deceptive part of this track is actually this part right here. I don't know what it is, but sometimes that little jump right there, I don't make it sometimes. I really don't know what controls that, but you do have to be kind of careful there. And I'm actually kind of nervous about winning this race. So I'm actually going to do a cheat and exploit right here. I actually learned how to do this in the Super 16 SNES game races I've been doing like every year. But you can actually go backwards at the track right here. And then once you hit this gate right here, go back. And it actually registers you as being like oh, you did a whole lap to get back to that point. I'm sure there's other shortcuts and exploits like this in other tracks, but sometimes I do that if I mess up on this track really bad, because again, this is a hard track to do if you like make a lot of mistakes, because the computer players tend to race perfectly, or they don't make those little mistakes that I tend to make sometimes. So there we go, we've actually beaten all the tracks of this cup, which means we are going to get our first medal. We have the bronze medal here. So we get our medal, we do a little dance, and yeah, there we go. We have our first medal on Crawler. But that didn't take very long, so let's go ahead and do our next tour here. We're going to go ahead and do Shuffler as well. Now, I'm only going to do 2 tours for this first video. Maybe for future videos I'll do 3, because again, these are not very long racetracks. I don't think there's like any racetracks in this game that'll take like 2 minutes, if I'm being honest. So these videos will be really, really short if I only do like 2 per video. So I might do 3 if I'm really feeling it, but for this first video, just to kind of give you just an idea of what this game's like, we'll only do 2 for this one. Plus there's the intro and all of that stuff too. Okay, so here we go. We're on the next track here. So you got to be careful about, doing jumps and tricks at certain points, because, especially if you're doing a track blind, you're not really sure what to expect. That's why it's kind of almost recommended to, when you're doing a track for the first time, like, don't worry about doing a lot of tricks. Kind of get a feel for the tracks, find out what exactly you're, dealing with, and then, try to optimize it from there. And you can kind of get an idea from the computer players as well, because sometimes they might do tricks at a certain point, and that can give you an idea of like when's the best time to do a jump or a super trick or something like that. Also, I don't know what I did right there. Like, sometimes if you like press L and R at the right times when you're doing those loops, you can actually get a huge boost of speed. And that's the way you want to do like sections like that. There'll be other sections that have like little maneuvers and loops like that. And you can really, really get far ahead if you press the button at the right time. Okay, so here we have Mega Jump. This is actually a pretty nice track because it has like a really cool jump in the middle of the track, as we'll see in a second. Whee! We did that. Here's the quote-unquote Mega Jump. Whee! Then we go down here, and then here is the finish line. I also like how the backgrounds in this game look. Like I like how this background kind of looks like we're looking at a bunch of like chocolate or something like that. That's what I always thought it was when I was younger, anyway. Okay, so there we go. So you got that beginning part. I just wait until I see the pink track, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna jump anymore. I'm gonna go through that little downward spin section. We'll do the mega jump. We'll do it again right here, and then we just go to the end. And see, like, even though I am like beating these computer players very easy, like that was still only like a 2-second difference at the end of it. So, you know, they're still keeping up with me despite that. But here we go. We have another stunt course. We have jumps. This is probably one of the more difficult stunt courses because it's not really laid out in a way where you can do a lot of major tricks. But the one thing you can do for this one, at least for the bronze, is if you just do 4 head bounces, you automatically beat the score. But yeah, over here we have like a backwards loop. We have a jump, and then we have another loop on this side. That's how basically this stunt course is laid out. So yeah, you just want to do, like, I try to just stay here with the big jump. Just try to do, like, as many tricks as I can. I don't try to do, I try to get, like, 1 or 2 triples out there. For the rolls. Do a couple of Twister Cities, because Twister Cities are very easy to do. And then try to do some Z flips as well. There we go. Got a score of 230. I think 230 is like the gold medal score around there too, so that was actually a pretty good score, honestly. So let's go ahead and do some flat fun now. Whee! Sorry if that, like, burning rubber sound is annoying in any way. I actually didn't discover that until I did, like, the Super 16 SNES marathon race last year, which last year's did actually have Uniracers as the game, so even though I love this game, I don't know, like, a whole lot about it, like the most optimal strats and everything. I just know, like, basic course layouts and stuff of that nature. So it was kind of fun learning some nice little cheats for this game, or just exploits to, go faster and do things more effectively. Of course, all you had to do for the Super 16 goal for Uniracers was just beat Crawler, so we've already finished that portion of it anyway. But yeah, like right there, I could have actually jumped over that speed booster section entirely and saved a lot of time, but I just didn't jump it in time to do that. But yeah, when you have like a nice long straightaway of this yellow track, that's usually an indication that, okay, you're about to hit the finish line, so that's definitely the best time to try to get some last minute stunts in if you're just maybe running a little bit behind or something. Okay, the last track were for the Shuffler Tour, and also the last track for this video, we have Infinity. Infinity's a fun one. There's actually 7 laps, but it's also very short. It's called Infinity for a reason, let's just say that much. It's quite literally an infinity sign. So yeah, that's basically all this track is. So all I like to do for this is I like to do, like, starting from the beginning anyway. I do a roll. I guess I always do rolls, so I have to like do the R button, L button, L button, R button. That's essentially the method you want to go with doing this one. It's pretty simple. Here we go, last lap. And there we go. And see, they were just right behind me that whole time, so I didn't even win by that much. But yeah, there we go. That was Shuffler. So we've now gotten bronze medals on the first 2 cups, which means we only have 2 more to go, and we'll definitely get through those next time. And like I said, I might do an additional track as well, just because, again, these are not going to take very long at all. But yeah, this is Uniracers. I'm really looking forward to playing this for you guys. It's a childhood favorite of mine, a very obscure racing game, but I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy playing it. Like I said, this was a game that I played a lot in my childhood. I even played a lot of it to the point where, like, I would quite literally, I'd play the multiplayer tracks with 2 controllers, and I'd like actually like have one hand on one controller and one hand on the other controller, and like try to race with both controllers or both characters at once. Which, you know, you couldn't really do the stunt courses like that, but like all the normal tracks I did in that way. And, you know, I got some silly fun out of that at the very least. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. This has been SlimKirby. This has been Uniracers. Hope you guys enjoy the project, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, folks.